Some do's and don'ts I want to share with you that are on the back of the handout that is right here is always shake off the flowers to remove bugs. And this is interesting. The yucca has this little moth that lives in some of the blossoms and it makes the blossoms into a house. And so when I put this into my car just now, all these little moths, I had to shake it so the moths would leave before they went inside my car. But as I was even working just now, I had a few of those little white moths coming out and saying hi. I always make sure you shake them out before you start using them for garnishing in particular, because you might be having a high tea with garnished beautiful edible flowers and then having little bugs crawling across your cream cheese or whatever you've done would not be all that attractive. One way you can do that is by putting your flowers on a white sheet in the sun just for a few minutes. And it'll just cause those bugs that are hiding in there to just escape because they don't like that brightness and they will scamper away. All right, removing the pistils and the stamens from the flowers before eating. And that's what I was just doing here. And the reason why is because they're super, super bitter. And that's not something that you're going to find very compelling. Separate the flower petals from the rest of the flower just prior to using them to keep them from wilting. So one of my hints in foraging with wild for edible flowers is filled with water in a box in the back of, in my car. And so when I went and collected flowers, I immediately put them into the water because if you don't, they just get so traumatized. And by the time you get home, they're just a mess. And then I'm going to use these for not just for beauty and for giving as gifts, but also for garnishing. And so what you do is you just keep them on your counter and your edible flowers that you want to garnish with, and just keep them in water so that they are really happy until it's time to display them and use them for cooking or for garnishing. And so I'll take off these petals right here, and these can go into, this is the black-eyed Susan, and these can go directly into a salad or into a honeyed cheese log or whatever, just for the color. It doesn't really have much flavor, but you don't want to eat this. This is the composite part of the ray flowers. This is a ray flower in the Asteraceae family. So this is just really not tasty at all. And so this just goes in my compost bin. Pick the flowers in the morning when their water content is the highest. And you want to wait until 9 o'clock or so. The dew has been burned off and everything is fresh and before it gets too hot. And I don't like to forage when it's hot. I tend to like to get up early and be out there just at the right time where I'm not fading either. And then some don'ts. Don't collect flowers by the side of the road to eat, and don't eat flowers from florists, garden centers, or nurseries because they use pesticides and sometimes they use chemicals to preserve the flowers for an inordinate period of time. And those chemicals and pesticides are really toxic. So just be sure that if you're going to eat roses, that you've harvested them and you found them yourself or you grew them yourself in a lovely, healthy place. And then don't consume large quantities of flowers. Sometimes people have allergic reactions, so you're going to want to test that. And then don't steep a flower tea for longer than 5 minutes or it will become bitter.